Welcome to Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure. As usual, I am Adam, and today, once again, in live format, I am joined with my good friend, Mr. Michael Sharp.
Hello, Adam. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good.
Greetings from Florida once again.
Here we are. Leisuring.
Yeah, sure we are. Here's the deal. I get up at like 6 o'clock. I take a shower. I put on dress clothes, and I haul myself down to the work event. And you get up at 8 o'clock, throw on a golf shirt, grab your clubs, drive to the course, play 18 holes, eat some, nice food, come back, work out a little bit. I think the day before yesterday, you were hanging out at the pool. So he's leisuring, and as usual, I'm working.
Yeah, I didn't have time for the pool today. I had to go to Home Depot.
But the beautiful thing is, this is the set. We were in Florida like a week and a half ago doing a golf thing. And then I had this meeting thing that I had to come to for the week. And so he's like, well, I'll just, come down and we can do some podcasting and he can do some golfing. But it's beautiful because he set up the desk area of this room and it looks beautiful. I mean, it works well for a studio, and he had to go get a couple of, went to the cheap bin at Home Depot and got a couple boards and some C clamps and have rigged up everything here. So I'm like on the one side of the desk and he's on the other. So
we are here in person. So yeah, if you don't know, purple paint, just carry some purple paint with you. Everything will be 75% off at Home Depot. Just spray paint a purple.
Purple?
Yeah.
I noticed there was like purple on the end of that one.
Well, the purple dot.
Oh, does that designate that it's the discount?
Yeah, so if you want something 75% off, you just spray paint it purple.
I don't know why these, this high-end, hickory wood is half off, but.
Well, ironically, some people had the same idea I had today. They went to the bin of purple. So, if you need some, on the serious note, if you need some just scrap wood for a project, children's project or maybe a school project, go over to the bin, 75% off. So I got some wood. I had them cut it up. We clamp everything with these stands, and they work great on my home office. But twice in a row now, we've had some difficulty.
Last time, I don't think we had that much difficulty.
It worked out.
Once we got it figured out, we didn't need to buy any wood or anything. But this one, there was no work. We had to augment the desk a little bit. But hey, we're here. We're coming to our leisure community.
That's right. Speaking of that, there you go. A little graphic for you on YouTube there, our leisure community. We love our leisure community. We did hear from a few individuals, and I wanted to mention those. So
they're not going to bash me about ketchup again, are they?
Actually, speaking of the ketchup, you had the Garwicks, our friend Scott and his wife. Well, hold on.
Don't tell me they're against the ketchup too.
Well, Scott says no ketchup, but his wife is in favor of team ketchup.
Well, his wife's invited along to any of our events anytime. Bring all the ketchup you want. Scott, I'm sorry.
There's no censor button. I had to leave that board at home, but we'll get into that in a minute. But Jeff says, I'm working on catching up on the winter episodes and wanted to say that my kids love when I listen in the car because they enjoy the sound effects. He said he also enjoys the sound effects, especially the occasional beep over Michael when it comes to the brim and Central Time.
So basically, he enjoys it when I get shut up, is what you're saying.
Man, I don't have my applause button either, but I was gonna.
Wow, he enjoys it when the censorship is done. That's okay.
Side note: this is the Jeff that saved our beep. I don't have my censor button. When we were
in Iowa,
before
that big storm, we got our stuff tore down. Found a hotel by some lucky whatever, I don't know, but we were lucky. Got that hotel. Got into the hotel just before the tornado hit town. So
Yeah, he's a weather aficionado, and
Okay.
he's into ballooning. And
Hmm.
with the ballooning, pays a lot of attention to weather. Otherwise, they don't get to fly the balloon if the weather
Wow.
is not.
Is that like our Jersey a couple years ago in Iowa had the big balloon on it? We never saw a single balloon the whole time.
He was a little upset about that
Was he?
too. Yeah, he said, "I don't understand. You got a balloon on the jersey, but you're doing nothing with ballooning." But
You'd think that, they would have had us go by or had a couple balloons out just,
yeah,
floating over the road or something. Yeah.
well, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you taking
Yes.
the time, not only listening, of course, that's appreciate that, but taking the time to write
Keep
us.
keep keep listening, kids, because I will be beeped more. So
Yes, unfortunately, I don't have any of my toys,
so
but
see, maybe we should just always go out of town to record because then I don't get beeped.
I could figure a way out to get him beeped. Oh man.
Really?
Uh, Well, it's my
It's
job.
an You're not working right now,
I
though.
know, but I can't shut it off. That's all accidents in Livingston County. So you know what?
Amateurs.
Not that I could do anything right now. I could call staff actually, but all right. So Cricket.
Ledford.
She wrote me. She's on the fence about coming. They have a tandem recumbent. And
Well, I think the question is, what does Scott think about this?
well, they wrote it before, and
Okay.
and so I mean, she's on the fence. I wanted to, since I know they listen, I wanted to challenge Cricket. Just make it happen. I mean, I know you're not doing the week long brag. I don't care about that. I'm just sending a message out on the show. Cricket, we're here to support you.
Absolutely.
So, um, but she wanted to make sure that her husband and Mark were on the team, and they are. We're welcoming them back. So we've got.
Speaking of which,
Yes.
it's getting close. What do we got? 3 weeks until sign up for Big Brag is over.
Yeah.
And we need like 10 more people.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting the jersey.
Oh,
we need 10 more people.
so let me change graphics here. There. This is the Bragg Cycling Men of Leisure 2025 Big Bragg. Jersey, check. I'm happy to announce, ladies and gentlemen, not only did we have enough for our men's team, check, but man, this is where I really wish I had my sound effect. Woohoo! We have enough for a ladies team. Yeah. So we have crest the 10 for ladies as well. So you're right. 3 weeks left. Let's see here. This comes out next Sunday. 2 weeks left.
2 weeks left. Okay.
When this comes out next week. So we've done that before.
We've done the wrong date, and then it comes out. And it's like, oh, it's tomorrow. But no, 2 weeks when this comes out. Go to Big Bragg, sign up for a week-long ride. You'll get a team customized collector's edition. I'm going to call it that because
limited
edition
for 2025.
That's right. Team jersey.
That's right.
We've got another couple of things that we're working on doing special just for the team. That's only available to team members. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have a speakeasy like we did that last time. Mm-hmm. We'll find a good place to do that, and maybe we're trying to put together another little activity that should be a good time. And join us. We'd love to have everybody out there.
So I've been working with Stephanie. For those of you who are you're familiar with Bragg and the staff, and you know that Stephanie handles that stuff behind the scenes.
Stephanie does all the hard work.
I know.
No offense, Franklin. Come on, but
I know.
Stephanie's the worker bee.
He shows up, smiles, has a hat on, and has the one wheel, and just rides
shakes
around.
hands, kisses some babies, I know. Stephanie does all the heavy lifting.
She's the one. But I had communications with her today. There's been a small request. If you're wondering, she gave me the list of where we are now. If you're wondering if you are on the team and that your registration went through, could you message me? So Adam from Cycling Men of Leisure, you can find my personal Facebook or just through the show, Cycling Men of Leisure Facebook. If you're not sure or you don't have confirmation or you didn't see it in your registration. So if you are not on my list, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather a list of those who are not on the list yet. couple things she wanted me to make sure that I let everybody know, and I'm actually going to pull this email up. If you give me just a second.
And I will say, if you're on the team, I would just double check, because last year we ran into the problem that somebody thought they were on the team, but they hadn't signed up for the team. And so definitely double check, make sure you've got either the confirmation email or check with Adam. So that way we don't run into the case where somebody thinks they're on the team, but they did not get put on the team.
So I can say this. She said, here's the current list. To make things faster, please just keep track of the people who email you, and we'll add them later on the list. Otherwise, what happens is she has to go into the registration, manually change it, and then it creates a bottleneck. And so she's getting emailed left and right. She's trying to stay on top of all the emails. Sure. But she does want to make sure that I say this. Only adults signed up for the full week qualify. So you can't be a child, and you have to have the full week and be an adult. And so those are the ones that qualify for the free jersey. Also, something I did not know until 10 o'clock this morning, 5 organic individuals that have never ridden brag are on our team.
What?
That's right.
So you're saying 5 people who have never rode brag.
That's correct.
Signed up to ride brag with us.
That's correct.
Or on our team. They don't have to ride with us. I mean,
right.
Now that's pretty cool.
So that's, she says, good job to Michael and I, and thanks, Adam. So anyways, yes, I have prior put out messages with you, even last night with our video, to email Stephanie. I'd like to retract that. If you're curious, email me, and I will mirror what you just said. Please check. I'm willing to take the time. Check with me, because it's awkward for us to be standing there passing out jerseys, and they're like, hey, I signed up. And of course I was communicating with the people that I had signed up, and never knew that you didn't sign up. So highly recommend that you check and check with us. We'll put that on our social. We'll make sure to get that out there as well. So, so yeah, 5 organic people who've never ridden brag are going to be part of our leisure community. So
love it. We welcome them, and just letting the people know you're going to get the jersey. But if you do want any other Cycling Men of Leisure swag, you can go out to our swag shop and maybe get a tech hoodie or a cap or some shorts to go along with that jersey. So,
and for the ladies, since we have a ladies team, we even sell a sports bra.
We do have a sports bra. Yeah.
Now you're probably wondering, why are the Men of Leisure selling a sports bra?
Because it's for the women of leisure.
Right. But even in that case, our sales rep said, hey, he's like, I can do this. And we're like, that sounds good. We'll do this. And I said, yeah. And then he kind of like made us both pause. He's like, and what do you think about a sports bra? I'm like, you know what?
Well, why not?
Why not?
Yeah,
But you know what? One of the reasons I thought it was cool is you and I have seen many people at Ragbri who wear a sports bra with just like a jersey over it. While they're, just what's the difference between guys unzipping their jersey a little bit? Same thing. So,
or they just wear the sports bra around. I mean, it's not any different really than a bikini top.
No,
I mean, actually probably covers more in most cases than that, but
true.
Yeah. So go check it out.
Definitely. You can find that at cyclingmenofleisure.com. There's our stores pages there. There's QR codes, or there's links there, whatever floats your boat, however you like to do it. So
2 weeks, get signed up. It's going to be fun.
Reminds me of COVID, when had all the menus were QR codes.
Oh yeah.
And I watch people struggle. Like, I don't know if I can do this, the phones back and forth. But, and sometimes I got to be honest, I feel like I know how to navigate QR codes, but sometimes my phone will read it, and then that little yellow bar that says click on it goes away. Yeah. So,
one other thing I think we need to talk about is there's some other rides that are open for registration.
That's right.
That we're familiar with. I mean, obviously, we had the live event when they announced Ragbri.
That's right.
So we know where Ragbri is going. We're not participating, but we've got a lot of friends and teammates out there who do ride it. So we had that. They know where they're going. That registration is opened. Shoreline along northern Michigan is opened, and
MUP is with Shoreline, 2 different rides. You can sign up.
Are they having MUP this year?
They are having MUP. Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking they weren't having it this year. Okay.
Yeah, I saw Neil. He and I went to this thing called Livingston Link Up, and just people who work at different agencies in Livingston County. And Neil came by. He said hi, and our friend Joe has signed up for Shoreline.
Okay, cool.
So
We've ridden to Joe on several rides. So Shoreline, MUP, it's all northern Michigan, and also another favorite of ours, Odram.
Odram, I
One
saw
day
that.
ride across Michigan,
Yeah.
160, 65 miles, somewhere in there. Good ride. So those are all open.
What about the one that we signed up for?
You know what? We've got a big announcement. We're going to announce another ride we're doing, but we're not going to announce it right now.
Okay, we'll talk about it before the end of the show.
Well, we will, but we haven't even done listener spotlight yet.
Listeners, I've been practicing since I don't have that
okay.
button. Listener spotlight. What do you think?
Yeah, it'll do.
All right, fine.
Are we ready for it?
Let me check my notes. I'm a guy who
What do you
has
mean check your notes?
Well, hold on, because I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. You think this just comes together like out of my mind?
I do okay with it.
When are we going to talk about your bucket hat?
Oh, you mean does wearing a bucket hat affect your intelligence?
Yeah.
Oh, as soon as we're done here, we're going to talk about bucket hats, the people who wear them, and an incident that happened to us at a fine dining restaurant just yesterday.
You know what? You were just mentioning, yes, I can't wait to talk about that. You mentioned rides to sign up for. Spring Tune-Up, April 4th to the 6th. Spring Tune-Up, for those of you who may not know, Bragg does many international rides. They do state rides, winter rides. One of the big festivals that is really fun that you and I actually attended once was the Spring Tune-Up, they call it. And his jersey is out for that. And so, man, it's like, reminds me of the car wash I just showed you over here.
Yeah, if anybody remembers the 80s, it looks very retro 80s. It's gnarly, it's tubular. I mean, it screams 1987. It's awesome.
Yeah, it'd definitely be seen. So I just want to make sure we get that one. So, okay, now that I've checked my notes, here it goes. Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for Listener Spotlight.
Okay. Trying to keep this guy going is just impossible. Anyway. All righty.
I missed my censor button.
I don't miss that at all. All right. Let's go with last time we had the hints of the community is an estate that it did not start in. The major industries that drove the town's development were mining and the railroad. The community supported the Confederacy. The name is the name is in reference to a Revolutionary battle. And Bulls basketball fans can thank this town for its small contribution to the team's success in the mid-'80s through the '90s.
Now, this is only a joke because Michael Jordan's son is having a bad legal battle right now because he made a boneheaded move. Is a team success Michael Jordan's son?
No.
Yeah, right now he.
Thanks for playing. At least you didn't say St. Louis. And then finally, they once had a sporting team that would make you want to have a drink of bourbon.
I know. This was the clue that really made me go, I already like it last time. So,
but you didn't have a guess.
Well, no, I didn't have a guess because
why? You had all day for 3 days? Golf course. You could have done some research. You could have done some thinking.
I had golfing to do, buddy.
I get a picture. I'm sitting at the conference. Let me digress for a minute. I'm sitting at the conference, and both days I get pictures of him on the golf course with his stuff, beautiful green in the background, him holding a Yingling. Yesterday it was a regular size can. This time it was like the double size can. I'm just like, really? Dude, I'm in the middle of a work conference. Anyway, no guesses, and no one guessed what the town was. So this episode's listener spotlight is... it should have gave it away. Revolutionary War battle.
Yeah, you're right.
Well,
oh.
he didn't do very well in history and probably couldn't tell you a Revolutionary War battle, but that's okay. We don't hold that against him.
I don't know where Colonel Meredith is now, but he probably is not thinking I was his shining star student.
No. I'm quite sure of it. Anyway, There was this little revolutionary battle that occurred January 3rd, 1777, in a little town in New Jersey called Princeton. But we're not talking about Princeton, New Jersey. We are talking about Princeton, West Virginia. It was named in honor of Princeton, New Jersey.
Well, Princeton, West Virginia. Thank you for listening. But
I got to give a couple hints here, though.
I know. I love to thank the people that you mentioned.
The community supported the Confederacy. According to local history, the residents themselves burned the town before the Union Army got there because they didn't want the Union Army to have any of its resources. That's according to local history. Where this town now sits was originally land that was in Virginia. They had to break it all up. I already told you about that. The basketball reference, Bulls basketball fans can thank this. This is actually the home. Are you ready for this one?
I am.
This is actually the home of, forgot his name, Rodney King Thorne. Rodney King Thorne is important because he was a basketball executive with the Chicago Bulls and was instrumental in getting Michael Jordan in the third round of the draft, bringing him to the team.
Where they later repeated the three-peat.
Yeah, and I think we all know what Jordan did for the Bulls back in the 80s and 90s. So
I like Mike.
Yeah. And here's the other one. I thought you would get this one. They once had a sporting team that would make you want to have a drink of bourbon. You're going to kick yourself. They once had an Appalachian League that was named the Princeton Whistle Pigs.
Oh my gosh. I would never have gotten that, but I love it.
It was a summer collegiate team named the Princeton Whistle Pigs, and that's in reference, well, the bourbon references to Whistle Pig. And actually the alternative name for a whistle pig is in fact a groundhog. So a groundhog was their thing, but they call it a whistle pig. And now you know.
They have a very expensive Boss Hog whiskey.
Ooh, big bottle though. So thank you, our listeners from Princeton, West Virginia.
Thank you, all listeners, but especially Princeton, West Virginia.
Yes.
All right.
So, can we talk about bucket hats?
Well,
or not?
Do we talk about our debate of how I think you do something versus how you think you do something?
Okay, this is how it always happens. Adam thinks he does everything right.
No,
Michael doesn't know anything.
No, I actually asked you. I was being serious because I think because all my life I have done it the way that I'm about to describe, and
wrong,
according to you. But all right, so in Michigan, as long as nothing changes with an executive order, just kidding. As long as nothing changes, February 21st, a new law is coming in Michigan, which, by the way, I understand is in many states. I had no idea, but they're going to change our sick policy. And so for every 30 hours worked, you'll get 1 hour, which means that people who never had sick time will now have sick time because the temporary employees never had it before. But that means all employees, no matter what you do. And then full-timers are getting more, and I was telling you about it.
Is this going somewhere?
Stop. Don't do this. But and so I said the words, I'm not even, I mean, it's a benefit, but I don't even call in sick now, which led for the conversation where you said, you mean call out sick? And I said, oh, is that how you say it? And you're like, well, that's how I say it. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, every job I've ever had, I've always called in sick. And so I guess I'm curious, just our leisure community, when you are unwell and you have a child that's unwell, or for one reason or another that you're unable to complete your shift for the day, do you call in sick or do you call out sick? And I'm just curious if you could
see, you call let them know you're sick, but you're calling out. I'm not going to be there. So I call out sick. I'm not going to be there. I'm not calling in sick because I'm not going in.
Well, sure, you call in sick. You're like, hey, I'm calling in because I'm sick.
No, you're calling out sick.
Anyways, you understand this again leads to an Adam Michael ketchup, no ketchup, calling in, calling out. So go out there to our socials and
So I'm going to be team calling out, huh?
you're
Is that
gonna
what you're
be,
saying?
yeah, I think for this one we'll use hashtag calling out or hashtag calling in. So you can send us a message if you don't want it to be public. You can send me a text. I'm just curious how you guys feel, and ladies, how you feel. Do you call in sick or do you call out sick? So um, I'm going to be in Kansas.
Yes, you are.
Uh, I'm going to be in Kansas City, Missouri for a conference, but Kansas City, Kansas is close, very close to your home. We would like to just throw it out there for our Central Time community. If you want to get together March 17th, 18th, or 19th in the evening, want to get together with Michael and I, let us know. We'll see if we can make something happen.
Yeah,
Right? Send us a message or whatever. So
we did that a couple weeks ago, and our friend Armando came out.
He sure
We had a good
did.
evening with him.
Sure did. I have something I'll save for a little bit.
Okay.
But I think it's time to get in to Bucket Hat Gate.
Bucket Hat Gate. Where do you even start? I mean, this is a real event. This happened to Adam and I last night, and it was the most bizarre. I mean, I'm still like going, was that even real? I woke up this morning going, did I dream that whole thing? I mean, it's crazy. Let me set the stage.
All right. I'll let you set the stage.
I get done with my thing. Adam had gotten us reservations at a restaurant that we like called Topolino's, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's at the top of the Riviera Resort at Disney. So we went down to Disney Springs, had a drink down there, and then hopped on the bus and went out to the Riviera and went to the restaurant. And it's a nice restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, it's not like elite restaurant, but I mean, you're paying $60 for, you know, a entree, you know, that type of thing. So
right.
it's a fine dining, I would call it. We're sitting there at the table, and you know, I mean, the tables aren't that far apart, but there's a couple sitting next to us. And I mean, they were there. I didn't really pay any attention to them. We're having our discussion, and take it from there.
So I like the stage that you've set. I'd like to give a few details. If you ever dine in a Disney restaurant, you know that the almighty goal is to turn a profit, and so they slam the tables in there just enough for safety and just enough for getting food around, waitresses, waiters, whatever you're having, done. So the tables are pretty close. Multiple times, my wife and I will go there, and I mean, you hear conversations next to you, or someone takes a phone call from their child, and like it's in the cupboard, it's on the second shelf. I mean, so you can definitely hear each other. I mean, if you're trying to listen to a conversation, which can be fun at times, depending on what's going on. When I hear things like, "I can't go to Texas, my warrant kicks in there." I mean, sometimes eavesdropping is fun, but so we're just sitting there, and we weren't belligerent. I mean, we weren't. We just were talking.
No,
we were just talking about the show, talking about our team, talking about we have to make some rental car things. We're just putting some ideas together for, because you and I take the show pretty serious. I mean, and out of nowhere, and I truly mean out of nowhere. Well, hold on. So we had a waitress was leaving Disney because she was a violinist and very nice young lady. And she's telling, I mean, right away, she's like, well, this is probably one of my last nights. I'm leaving Disney. I'm moving to Dallas. And we were like, okay. And she said, well, I'm a violinist, but Disney is cutting down and some of the things. And so, it's just time to move. And we were like, but she had put in 15 years. So she was telling us that she's going to get, retirement rights. We mentioned Armando, our friend, blah, 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 blah. And she says that her wedding is April 23rd. And so we're just sitting there, and the waitress comes by. Um, she says, "You guys want anything else?" We're like, "Yeah, we'll take the check, please." And all we said is congratulations, good luck on your wedding. And this guy next to us, who's wearing a camouflage bucket hat.
We're in a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
He's wearing a camouflage bucket hat. I mean, right there, it's like, come on, dude, let's have some class. But anyway.
And he starts to verbally attack you, Michael. For you at home, he starts to verbally attack Michael. And the verbal attack is like, dude, just sign your check and get out of here. Out of nowhere. I was in so much shock. For all of you who have ever hung out with us, you can imagine, you know what we're like. You can picture it right in your head right now. and you know, you and I have done pretty well for ourselves career-wise. And so, I mean, this guy is literally trying to pick a fight with you. I mean, and I'm not just talking a verbal argumentative. He got up and said, "I'm going to go to the bathroom. I have to get away." And the way he was saying it was like leading us like we're going to throw away our careers and have an altercation.
But he gets up after he's insulted us and all this kind of stuff and say, "Leave, you know, you guys are being loud, rowdy." It's like, you're drunk and you're belligerent. It's like, dude, I've had like one drink here while I've been sitting here the whole time while I'm having dinner.
Yeah.
And he gets up and makes it well known that he's going to the bathroom. I got to get away. Like, you're right. I think he was like one of us wanting to follow him so he could like try to beat us down or whatever. But then he leaves his significant, his wife, his girlfriend, whomever, right there. I mean, who does that? You just get up, you start this confrontation, and then you just walk away, and your wife or girlfriend is like sitting there going, "Oh, I'm sorry." You know, I mean, it was just the rudest thing ever. And she was
embarrassed.
Oh, totally embarrassed. And I just like, I was so like, what's going on? And then I looked at her and I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, but if you thought we were being too loud, then just be a human being and just say, 'Excuse me, sir,' you know, whatever. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, just call the waitress over, and the waitress or the manager can come over and go, 'Hey guys, we know you're having a good time, whatever. You know, can you bring it down? We've had some complaints.'" That's fine. You didn't say anything other than you're yelling, "Just go ahead and sign the check and get out of here." And
if the waitress thought that we were being a certain way, I'm sure she would have went to the management. And I mean, first of all, drinks are $29 a piece. I'm not going to sit there and you know.
Well, it was just crazy. And then he's like, "Well, those other people over there on the other side of it, they left because of you." It's like, what are you talking? I mean, just out of the blue. And then finally I was like, I signed my check, and it's like, I'm out of here. I'm not wasting my time on you, buddy. It's like, I'm like, you're wearing a bucket hat in a fine restaurant. Don't even get in my face. And as I'm getting up, big popcorn fan, so I always take my Disney thing, so I fill it with popcorn. He's like, "Yeah, take your little popcorn bucket and leave." I'm just like, and then what did he do to you?
So you get up and you leave, and I'm filling out my check because I saw the disparity. You know, there was a financial snafu on the receipt. And so I'm looking at it going, okay, something's not right here. And as I'm signing it and filling out my tip, like almost like having like an altercation with someone, he literally takes the pen, yanks it out of my hand. I mean,
and throws it on the floor.
Throws it on the floor. And all I said, I was about to say, "Let me give you some advice. People like this have been kicked out of Disney before." So that was what I was going to say. "Let me give you some advice." And he's like, "I don't want your God blessing advice, you know, whatever." And I realized at that moment, I just need to walk away because I'm not, even if, you know, I was telling my wife today because it was so crazy. I mean, I was like you today. I just couldn't believe it's just so appalling what happened that I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened." So I was telling my wife today, and my wife goes, "Well, what would you have done if he would have physically, you know, tried to do anything to me?" And I said, "I would have walked away," because I've seen on Facebook pages where Disney bans you for life.
Oh yeah.
And so
it's not, I mean,
no, and
we're smarter than that.
No, I would never do that. But
he just, and then he's like, then he made some comment about the waitress doesn't even, you know, doesn't even want to come around your table. And it's like, what are you talking about? She's been around here several times. We're talking to her. We know she's getting married. And then he goes, she's not either. And I was like,
okay.
And then she came walking over. I was like, oh, by the way, Brandy, what day, I said, no, she's getting married on April 28th or whatever.
23rd.
And 23rd.
Yeah.
And she came over and I was like, Brandy, when you get married? She's like, April 23rd. And I was like, it's just like he was looking for anything under the sun to try to provoke us. So here's my theory. One of three things, maybe two of three things. Either he heard us say something and he thought we were talking about him. I don't know what we were talking about. I mean, maybe he overheard something and thought we were talking about him or his wife or girlfriend or whatever, and was insulted by that.
Don't wear a bucket hat.
Yeah. And I wasn't even really paying attention to either of those. And, there was a manager over at another table who was making his rounds. And, if we'd have been crazy, he would have came over and said,
right.
Hey, so it's either that or we said something in our conversation that offended him, which, hey, if you and I can't talk about what we want to talk about, sitting at a table in a restaurant, well, get out of our conversation. Or number three, and here's the big one. We've noticed that when two middle-aged guys go to a Disney restaurant, we typically go to a nice Disney restaurants, there tends to be assumptions made. They tend to think, and we've ran into this and we've talked about it several times. We go there, we're having dinner. Most of the time, two guys our age are not going and hanging out at Disney together. So there's a lot of assumptions made that, well, maybe, we're living the alternative lifestyle or, whatever, which is, I don't care how people live or anything like that. But people make a lot of assumptions because then, they come by and it's like, oh, is this on one check or two, and there's just, and there's just always this kind of this thing with like a lot of the weight people that it's like they assume that we're a couple. So I'm wondering if he thought that we were a couple and he was just offended by that. And it was just like, I hate these people.
Which is what my wife said too. She said that she, probably thought that the same thing, but it happened to us 10, 11 days ago or whatever. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Time's flying by. But we went to another restaurant over there.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, I asked for, can we please split the bill? And the waitress was kind of looked at us like,
it's like,
oh, you want to split the bill? And we're like, well, yeah. So we noticed that, and then we made a joke.
And that's happened a lot of places. And it's like Disney. And I get it. I mean, a lot of people our age aren't going to go to like Disney and have dinner, but all the places.
Mm-hmm.
I've eaten a lot of them, and they have good food and all that kind of stuff, and we get a discount there because of the different perks that we've got,
right?
And, so I don't know what his problem was. He was itching for a fight. He wanted one of us to go back to the bathroom so he could get all crazy, and that's why he threw the pen out of your hand. I mean, he was wanting you to like swing at him or something. I don't know what his problem was, but the fact that he left his girlfriend or his wife just there, it's like, I'm just going to leave you here. It's like,
the only thing that I think the reason why I got the pen taken out of my hand is I said, dude, your wife or significant other is embarrassed by you. I mean, she even said it when you left the table, and I'm sure that's why I got the pen ripped out of my hand. So, I mean, she, as soon as he left, she was like, I'm so sorry. He does this all the time. And I mean, I'm like, well, and my wife said, can you imagine if that was your first date? Like, red alert.
Yeah,
red
really.
Alert.
Run away.
This is not good. But yes, that was, if you would have told me in a million years that someone was going to go crazy like that, but that's what makes it road adventures.
Yeah. Well, that was a heck of a road adventure. So I don't know what the guy's problem was. But if you wear a bucket hat, that's fine. I think that you should not wear a bucket hat, my own personal opinion, when you're at a fine dining restaurant. It just, he was, I don't know. He was looking for a fight,
but you know what else happened last night?
No, what?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh man, where's this going?
I have photographic evidence that Michael has overcome his fears, and on the escalator that he recently had an altercation with, he rode the escalator.
Yes.
I will post a picture on the day that this episode comes out. I'll have to schedule that now so I don't forget. But a picture will come out of my good friend overcoming his fears of escalators, riding the exact escalator that tried to put him to his demise. And we can now get past that. So
I've overcome the fear. Yeah, I can now once again safely ride escalators. I think, Disney's breathing a sigh of relief now because, my attorney didn't call them and anything. But,
no.
But no, I did manage to get down the escalator without falling down and 911 having to be called. So
remember, if you call in sick, hashtag call in. If you call out, hashtag call out. We do need another set of listener spotlight clues. We also have to talk about our third cycling event. Do you want to do the honors?
Yes, we are excited to announce, and this is exciting because we had looked at this ride a couple of months ago, and it had said that it was not going to happen this month because
this year,
this year, sorry, because they were looking at maybe changing it up, and they didn't, know if they would have the abilities now, to continue the ride because it's been going on for 30 some years. So we didn't think this ride was going to happen this year. And we thought, well, maybe it's never going to happen. And we actually signed up for this ride in 2020. But obviously, with what happened in 2020, we did not get to ride. So I saw that they were looking for registration, and I sent it over to you. And I said, oh, they're doing it this year. And you were like, let's go. We will be participating in Rain.
The Rain ride. I remember the first time we signed up, and I found the jersey and sent you the jersey. It had like lightning bolts on it, and
it was an awesome jersey.
Yeah, I mean, especially as a Michigan fan, it was awesome. It was Michigan blue with yellow lightning bolts. And you're a Michigan fan, right? Anyways, yes. So,
but Rain is
160 miles.
Yes, right across Indiana.
One day.
Yep.
Starts and ends at colleges, Terre Haute to Richmond, Indiana, I think. So, this is not for everybody. As of right now, it's definitely not for you.
Why do you say that?
How many miles do you got in this year?
Is this relevant? Let's just keep going.
Okay, sorry. I apologize. Yes, my good friend needs to develop a plan ASAP. So
I will be getting on a plan because this is not a ride. I mean, there's been times we've went on rides that we hadn't done a lot of training, and it's like, you know what? You're going on a 5 or 6 day ride. You get through the first couple days and you can make it. But this is one day. You've got from basically sunrise to a little bit after sundown to get there. It's no joke. I mean, it's not like
we did the math. We did the math, and you get 14 hours to do it. Although every time they say you have 14 hours to do it, I'm like, you think I'm a half hour out? I'm going to let you stop me?
Yeah, it's like
I'm going to get out my cell phone.
Nope.
Hey, with that Christmas idea, I never told you this. You talked about Christmas gifts, that Rise light.
Oh, the one that goes on your handlebars.
Bought one.
Oh, and that your computer will click right into the top of the light.
Yeah, on Black Friday or something like that, I was able to find it. I don't know how long it lasts, but man, that thing is bright. So, but anyways, I'll turn on every light I can. I'll start lighting candles if I have to. I always, when they say you have 14 hours and then we're going to pull you. Okay, good luck with that.
Well, you're pulling you from a public road. So, I mean, I get it because they can say, you know what, you're on this ride. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, fine. I quit the ride. You need me to sign something or whatever. I mean, I get from the liability thing, but so we are going to ride across Indiana in one day. If there's any crazy people out there that would like to join us, registration is going on now. So it'll be fun.
The math that we did,
it's not bad.
No, it's 14 average. So we went and looked at.
For how long? How many hours?
Well,
are you taking the full 14?
Full 14, yeah. But when you and
we've looked back.
Yeah, we looked back on Strava, and we've done 165 in one day. Another ride we did, which we don't talk
We
about on
don't
this
talk
show,
about that. No.
was 160. If you really want to know, go to my Strava page. Go back and look at 160. But I know someone is really doing it right now. But if you want to know more about it, you can write us. We just won't talk about it here. But and that one, it was weird. I started out struggling, and then I came strong, and then about 3/4 of the day, you became not as strong.
Yeah, I started out really good, and then boy, man, I just like hit a wall, and I was like, whoa.
But you know that even then, we would go like 10, 15 miles. We'd pull over, take a break. That's when that Ying said he was gonna pull us.
He'd start threatening to pull us like at mile 5.
Yeah,
you guys need to. It's like, dude, we've done this before, because that wasn't our first long distance. We had done Odd Ram the one day right across Michigan twice before we had done that. And the first time we did the one day was like 145, and then they lengthened it to like 163 or something.
Yeah, it was weird. Which is really weird because when I've told people this story, I'm like, oh yeah, we were there the year that they went out to the lake and back, and they're like, well, you do that every year.
No, they didn't used to.
In 19, when we first did it, I think we did it in 19 and 21. Yeah, because I went back and looked. In 19, it just went from the Double J Ranch right to the lake, Bay City.
Yeah, they did not give you the option of going over to the actual lake and then coming back.
Yeah, Lake Michigan. Yeah, you know, all the way back to Bay City. And then the next year, 2 years later when we did it, they gave us a choice. They said you can either you can just take this route or this route with the extended. And we were like, man, we want to dip our tires.
We're doing lake to lake, straight across. So that was cool.
You know what? That was the day that our friend Jacob killed it, man. He was a monster. He smoked us all, and on the way home, he was
not a race.
It's not a race, but he definitely did. He had a phenomenal average too. So,
of course, that was also. Well, that was no. Was that no? That wasn't. It was the. Was it the first year? Are you talking that Jacob did really well? First time we did it, or second time? It was the second time.
Yeah.
That was the year I ripped the toenail off my toe. Because you made me sleep in this silly loft thing at this cabin, but
I booked the room. I took the bed, so
I had the loft. I'm climbing up this ladder, and
you know that ride was never good for you.
Yeah, because I also forgot my cycling shoes, and everybody that we're riding with, the other 3 guys. No, there's 2 more guys in their cabin. Everybody's like on their phone trying to help me find cycling shoes or pedals, and it was Jacob that actually, I think, either you or Jacob called one of the mechanics, and they're like, well, we don't have any shoes, but we've got like regular flat pedals.
Yeah, we were all using our resources. All of us were trying to figure out something for you, and then you finally went up to the mechanic, and he had a regular pair of just like not trainer pedal, but just
regular ordinary cruise bike pedals, and it's like, put those puppies on and I'll just wear my Feeless. And I rode it in my Feeless,
which I give you credit for, because you know you had trained a lot actually, and you know when you're training, you're pulling up and then pushing down, so you had to push down all day long. So
we made it. So we're doing rain. That'll be fun. We were really disappointed in 2020 when it got canceled.
For sure.
We were disappointed because it had been on our list for a while when we saw that they weren't going to do it, and then they brought it back. So we'll be doing that.
Anyone who is crazy enough to join us, or not crazy, but I'm teasing obviously because we're going to do it. But
or if you just want to come out to Richmond and see us come across the inline,
ring the cowbell,
ring the cowbell,
ding 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 ding. So I believe that is the 19th of July, and I'm getting confirmation right now.
Yes, I am working on looking that up.
Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure it's 19th, Saturday the 19th. So I'll let him confirm, but the Saturday ride all day long, join us. I, like you, will probably be wearing a Cycling Men of Leisure full kit that day.
Saturday, July 19th, 2025. I'll be decked out, full Cycling Men of Leisure.
With your debrim. Great job. Really proud of you about that, too.
No.
Well, listen, don't worry, Melanie. you and I and Keith, we are so safe, and we're not going to have any, dermatology appointments with sun on us.
Until it becomes a sale and it blows you off the bike. But
If it is windy that day, I might have to cut it down. So, no, so I'm excited about that. Keeps me training. Back on Zwift because of that. I've been riding like crazy, and so I will here to support you to get your keister moving, my friend. So
I will start doing that because, well, I have to, or else I will, perish somewhere out in the middle of Indiana.
You know what it reminds me of, and this is one of those memories because when one day when I'm in the senior home and I'm hoping I have my wits about me, there's a memory that I have that Franklin has been just absolutely amazing to us. I mean, helped us out, has made a contributor donation, spreads the show, helps us, comes up to us. But I'll never forget when he kind of had a little fun at our expense. And this is the memory. So we're in Bragg 23, I believe, and
2023.
Yeah, and so the first night we get our jerseys, we're passing them out. We go into town, we get dinner, and we're staying underneath this. I don't know, pavilion.
Yeah, they use it as a farmer's market.
Is that what they do?
Yeah,
okay,
that's what it was used for.
So, and well, Franklin comes over on his one wheel, and following him is a police officer. and so the police officer's like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be over here," but I mean, I'm only supposed to tell you that. I don't care what you do.
It was just adjacent to the regular camping spot, and the others' camping spots are really full. And we thought, well, this is perfect,
right?
So,
and he was really nice. Yeah. Wonderful officer. He said, "I'm only supposed to tell you, but what you do after this, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back." And so we were like, "So,
wink, wink.
Okay. I mean, so do I defy your order based upon what you're telling me?" So, anyways, of course, Franklin being the director, and he knows us, he's advocating for us, and he's like, "Listen, these guys they're not going to cause any problems," and he's like, "I don't care what they do. When I leave here, I'm not coming back." And so we all were laughing, and then of course Franklin having a conversation with us, and then he says the following phrase. He says, "You boys been training?" And we're like, "No, I didn't get a lot of training in." And he has like this evil, like, "Wait till tomorrow." And it was like, okay, all right.
And then he's just, I mean, we knew what the elevation was, right. But it's hard to understand the elevation until you're like really out there on the road.
And then like halfway through the day, I kept thinking, man, he was laughing at us.
As he should have been.
So that's one of the memories that I have. So yes, this year with the elevation that we have coming up, training is definitely, of course, I've been on a health mission, obviously, but at the same time, training is definitely this year is on the forefront for me because that killed me almost. So
we got her done though.
So that's it. I mean, we appreciate all of you as usual. I would be remiss if before you go into listener spotlight, I want to take this time to thank Alex, Scott, and Dennis. Thank you for being our monthly subscribers. If you are looking to be a monthly subscriber at levels of like $1 a month or $2 a month or $3 a month, we'll mention your name in every show. So,
and you never know, something might show up in your mailbox.
I've done that too. They can all attest to that. So, that being said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to hear it. I'm going to try it again. Ready? It's now time for listener spotlight.
That's right. This episode's clues for listener spotlight are as follows.
St. Louis. I haven't done that in a while. I figured it was time.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You're still not right.
Dang it.
So take St. Louis off your guess. Early settlers were primarily English, and they were drawn to the area due to a timber drive. There's a lot of timber. Early 1900s, there was over 15 mills within 4 miles of this community. And we're talking sawmills and grist mills.
So I normally don't do this, but since we're together, I'm thinking like near a body of water, river or something like that. Go ahead.
That would be smart because we're talking early 1900s, not a lot of electricity out there. So you had to run those mills. So you're headed down the right path. Originally, it had a different name, but that was changed prior to the early 1800s. The town was established in the 1790s. However, it was not incorporated until the 1890s.
They had a little ways to think about
Well,
it.
it's like, are we going to incorporate? Every year we vote, and we're always like, we always get down to it, and there's Dave never wants to vote. He always abstains, and he's never breaks the tie. And
It's like playing games with Dave, like a board game. Like, come on, man, it's your turn. So
he's the guy spending 35 minutes on his turn at Clue.
that's right.
Was it Colonel Mustard in the study with the dagger or the candles? Dagger or candle?
It was the rope, Dave, and hang yourself with it.
Just go, yeah. People who like extremes, this is a town for them. Extremes.
So river and extreme, okay.
Yes. Other major industries in the area include poultry, agriculture, and canneries. And if you are a remote worker, which a lot of us are, this town is for you.
There's going to be a lot less remote workers, but if you're a remote worker, and a lot of us are, this town is for you. This town is for you. This town.
Remote worker, this town is for you. So, there's a lot of mills.
I don't know why.
Agriculture, canneries.
Don't answer this because I love when we get guesses, but I don't know. But something just came up like Seattle area, but I don't think Seattle. I mean, they could have logging mills.
Now let me help you out. Let me help our community out. I've already used Seattle. A couple months ago, Seattle was already there. So
Spokane was there.
So I'm not repeating. I mean, we got a lot of towns to go to before I start repeating places, which, by the way, I looked at our numbers for our last show. It's always interesting. 10% of our listeners are from out of the country.
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I always wonder, like, if people are on cruises, does that count? Have you ever,
do you take cruises in Albania?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I mean, when I sign up for cruises, I don't be like, oh, it's cold in Michigan, I'm going to Albania.
Although I do want to welcome our listeners from Japan. We've just recently acquired a couple listeners from Japan. Hadn't had anybody from Japan before, so welcome if you're listening from Japan. They
were probably stuck on that airplane that struck the Delta plane today.
What?
You didn't see it because you were working.
Yeah, some of us were working, but
So the news story says that like they show the Japan Airways. I don't know if is it Japan Airways or JAL. I think it's JAL. Literally like cut into the rear.
And that was today.
That was today.
Man, it's getting unsafe to fly. There's been a lot of incidents.
Don't say that. You and I are flying on Friday.
But anyway, yeah, I don't necessarily. There could be some cruises, but a lot of the places that we're getting, obviously people from Germany are not on a cruise. Now, the people in Japan, I thought, it could be servicemen. But when I saw the location, it's like we don't have a U.S. base where we're getting the listens from. So thank you, whoever you are. Or, hey, if you are listening to us from Japan or another foreign country, hey, tell us, drop us a note. Say, hey, I'm listening to you guys. This is how I found you. Or this is why I'm listening.
I would like to piggyback off that. Not only could you write us and tell us, why you found it, how you found it. Maybe you're, like you said, maybe you're stationed over there. But do you listen on, through the computer? Do you listen on podcast for your phone? I just would love to know just some education of how different people listen outside the country.
Yeah, it would be cool. And I have one more thing before we wrap this up.
I'm sitting down.
We have had listeners from all over this country.
Mm-hmm.
We still have not gotten a listener from Wyoming.
I know you're pretty.
Where is everybody from Wyoming? Please, if you know somebody from Wyoming, I don't care whether they cycle or they like leisuring or anything, tell them, hey, you got to download and listen to part of this video so we can get somebody from Wyoming. If you live in Wyoming, that's even better. But some reason We got every other state. We ain't got Wyoming. That's wonderful
I've
grammar.
never
But
been.
yeah,
Well, listen,
you've never been to Wyoming?
I've never been to Wyoming, but
Well,
you told me your story. But my question is I've been told that you can go like 90 miles an hour in Wyoming.
no, they have a speed limit.
They do?
Now, back in the 90s, in the early 90s, mid 90s, early 90s, Montana did not have a speed limit. Basically they had signs, and it was, well, they had a speed limit. It's like at night you were only supposed to go like, I don't know, 60. But the sign said something like along the lines, speed limit, go at a reasonable speed or whatever, but they didn't have anything posted. So basically you go as fast as you want to. Cause I went clear across that state when I was like, either like still in college or a couple years out of college. And I remember I had my car, and it's like, I'm going to see how fast. I got it up to like 110. And of course my car is like about ready to shake apart, but I got, I didn't go very far at that speed, but yeah, they didn't really have a posted daytime thing. They've since gotten rid of that. But when I was in Wyoming, actually I was in Wyoming not very, last year, maybe the year before. Yeah, they've got speed limits there.
Oh, because I was thinking like if somebody downloaded in like Minnesota and then they drove so fast across the state, maybe that's why you're not getting.
Well, here's the problem. Minnesota, that's like a state and a half away from Wyoming.
I know, but figured if there was no speed limit.
But you have to go through South Dakota.
I tell you what I'm going to do.
And South Dakota has a speed limit.
You're a great friend. I'm going to spin up my VPN. I'm gonna log into a Wyoming server. I'm gonna get it off the board for you, buddy.
It just really bothers. It's like, of all places. I mean, we get tons of listeners from all. I mean, we've got listeners from Rhode Island, for God's sakes. I mean, we've got listeners from all over Canada and Mexico and all the other states, but not Wyoming.
So recently, I'll close with this. We were told at Podfest, which was an episode back, that we should put a media kit together. And we worked on our media kit. We were both really surprised. Over 1,750 cities. People have listened or have come up on the data. So I think it takes a geographic location of when you hit download. So I think you're right. I don't think someone from Wyoming has ever downloaded us, but there's cycling in Wyoming.
There is.
There's leisuring in Wyoming.
There's a lot of leisuring in Wyoming.
So,
and I think they have a ride called, isn't it Tour de Wyoming? I think they've got an organized ride that's up there. I've been to Wyoming many times. I've seen cyclists there. Oh, we'll keep pushing. So,
all right.
Well, or if we don't, we're just putting Adam on a flight in 6 months. You're going to fly to, Cheyenne. You're going to get off the plane. You're going to listen to a couple episodes. Then we'll put you back on a plane. You're going to fly home.
Honey, I got to go to work today. Well, listen, love being with you, my friend. As this is fun to do this in person.
Oh, absolutely.
I almost screwed up. I said I would talk about traveling with the gear and stuff. So I will close with this. So a couple of you wrote me and asked me how did it go with taking the studio on the road. Well, definitely took way too much last time. We have 2 devices that help us record the audio and the video. We have 1 device that will do both, but it has its limitations. You can't have as many I talk about my toys where I have a big soundboard with all my sound effects. That board is pretty. I know you're disappointed.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry about that, buddy.
I'll live.
But it's a pretty big device. It's probably 16 inches by 16 inches, and so it goes in a backpack, and then all the cables and everything. And so we realized that 2 weeks ago that we brought way too much, and so then it was kind of like Operation Minimalize, and so. This time we brought the bare bones, and we have the 4K cameras, and we've got everything. We did run into a few snafus, but for those of you who asked, we're able to do it, and I think we're going to be able to do some more stuff on the road. So I'm pretty.
We'll take a picture. We should post that too
before we close everything and start boxing everything up. So I'm going to send you home with the trim that I bought at Home Depot today.
Thank you.
So-
Fantastic.
I can imagine the TSA note. Excuse me, do you
No.
bring some lumber?
No, I'm just going to wrap duct tape around it, walk up and say, I want this, put this in the,
with my stepladder.
exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you all. We look forward to seeing you at one of our events. Reach out to us if you need anything. Remember, Big Brag, March 1st is the cutoff. You have to be signed up by March 1st, full week-long registration. So,
Cycling Men of Leisure.
So just to be clear, you still have to register at brag.org. If you want to be on the team, you can email me that. But just because you tell me you want to be there, you still have to register with brag.org. So, anyways, if
and
you know
what? Today is
a great day for some golf, some great day for some relaxation, working out outside. It was a wonderful day for leisuring, and it would be a great day for a bike ride.
But you know what you should also remember?
Yeah, we should say this.
Yes.
Cycling Men of Leisure says, don't ever leave home without an extra derailleur hanger.
Yes. It's good advice for anybody.
That's right. I don't care who you are. So, all right. Everybody have a great night.